Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my third update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. This is my now third year of doing this project pan, which is just so cool to reflect on and think about. I'm so happy to be doing it yet again, and I am so glad that you are enjoying this series as well, because it is an absolute blast for me to play with randomized eyeshadows for my collection and just use my collection in a way that I wouldn't do organically. I find it really exciting and really inspiring, and it's just been an absolute treat to get back into this routine. Now, as you'll notice, I'm not wearing any makeup today, so yeah, not the most exciting thing to look at, I suppose, but I'm not going to apologize. Like, this is just what I look like, and unfortunately at this moment I can't wear any makeup at all. I can't wear eyeshadow or brows or mascara just to kind of feel a little bit more pulled together, but I especially can't wear anything on my face because if you follow me on Instagram, you know I got a pretty severe rash. Like, it was like a burn on my entire like upper chest, neck, palms of my hands, and my entire face. I think it was a reaction to something. However, this is now the third time that this has happened within 2 months. So I don't think it was something new in my routine. It's something definitely that is old in my routine, or some sort of ingredient that I've kind of developed a sensitivity to. And so here we are. The next few videos on my channel are going to be barefaced and zitty. That is just what it is. So I hope you're cool with that, because that's kind of the way it's gonna be. But in any case, let's just hop on into all the progress that I have made during the time when I was wearing makeup, which is about 5 days ago. And I won't be wearing any makeup for at least another 5 days, so I figured I'm not gonna make any more additional progress. Might as well just sit down and share my progress that I did make previously with you. All right? Let's just get on into it. So I just swatched out all 5 shadows that I've been playing with for the past month. This is what my color story was looking like, and if you saw my last update, you know I was so beyond thrilled about pulling these 3 additional new colors into this color story, because I wasn't really feeling like super inspired by some of the shades that I was working on in the past. So this is super exciting. This definitely made me really inspired over the past little while. However, I will just let you know, not a ton of progress, seeing as I haven't worn makeup for the past like almost week. And honestly, even prior to like not being able to wear makeup, I found myself not wearing as much makeup this past month, just because I'm kind of still figuring out my groove a little bit. And I don't know, I just have been going makeup free some days just for the heck of it. So yeah, this is the color story that I've been working on, but why don't we just get on into some of the progress that I have made over the past month. So the eyeshadow that's been in here the longest is actually the one here on the top. It is a matte red, kind of like a true red with a little bit of like a brownie kind of color. And it came from a ColourPop palette that I have since depotted. It was the Yes Please palette, and the shade is called Spoiled. I have had this in the introduction, since the introduction of this project, and since my last update, I have used it a total of 4 times. Not the most amazing progress. Oh, also I did end up actually just putting it into this little quad right here. If you watched my most recent Shop My Stash, you'll have recognized this, because I decided to just kind of like create a more curated small palette for myself to reach for and to be inspired by, and to use these alongside this color story as well. And I love this little quad. I wore this the next day after I did my Shop My Stash and was like in love. I wore all 4 of these shades on my eyes. I've worn a combination of these a handful of times, and I really do like the way that all of these colors work together. Not the point of this video at all though. So I have worn this now a total of 10 times in this project. So even though I wore this shade Spoiled only 4 times this update, it was an improvement from my past 2 updates, because I had only worn it 3 times each update prior. So bringing me up to a total of 10 uses. Not amazing, but it is what it is. And as you can see there is a little bit of a dip starting to form in it, which is great. Definitely nowhere near the pan though. It's gonna take me quite a lot of time to get to the bottom of the pan, because even though these are small in like circumference, these are very deep pans, and the mattes are very, very pigmented. I don't need a lot of product in order to actually get the pigmentation that I want on my eyes. So This is going to be in here for a while if I want to try to hit pan on it. I personally do want to try to hit pan on it, although I have set myself a threshold that if I've used something 15 times, I can roll it out of this project. I think I want to try. I want to go for the goal of hitting pan on this one. So it'll be in here a while. I'm feeling really inspired by it. I can't wait to put it back onto my eyes. Honestly, swatching these, just to kind of share with you my color story, I was like, oh, I can't wait to put all these on my eyes again. I cannot wait. It's so exciting. The next shadow that I've been focusing on, I've had in since my first update. It is this dirty gold color. It is a super dimensional and really interesting metallic shade. It's so beautiful and very unique, and I adore it. And it comes from my Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette, which, as I've said to you before, I'm a sucker for this palette. I love this palette so much, and it's something that I just can't seem to shake, my love for this. It is the shade called Granddaddy, which is the second shade here in the palette. It is that gorgeous, dirty greeny gold. It's gorgeous. I guess I could call it like an antiqued gold, but I like calling it a dirty, grungy gold. And as you can see, I've obviously not hit pan on it. I have been, you know, making a little bit of a dip in it, but I'm nowhere near hitting pan, I imagine, with this. In fact, I've only worn it one time since my last update, bringing me to a total of 5 uses in this project. So I would not imagine that in 5 uses I'd be able to hit pan on an eyeshadow, and so that definitely needs to be remedied. I need to reach for this definitely more than one time in a month, but it is what it is. 1 use is better than none use. What? I honestly don't foresee it being an issue to be able to hit pan on this shadow. You know, this has been the year that I've worn the least makeup probably out of all the years of my adult life, because I was finishing up my studies, and then now honestly, this is the 3rd time I've had this reaction. So I haven't been able to wear makeup quite a bit through this year, and I'm just finding my groove with panning still. So I don't know. I'm not going to apologize for it because it is what it is. These are all external factors, and makeup at the end of the day, like being able to hit pan on something like really isn't that important at all. But it's still fun to sit down and share with you the progress that I've made, whether or not it is like exciting, life-changing progress. So yeah, that is what it is. And this next focus shade is a bright orange matte shade. It comes from the e.l.f. and Jkissa To The Rescue palette. This shade is called Millie. And I said when I introduced this palette into this project last update that I kind of feel like this palette leaves a little bit to be desired. It's not the best quality or the best performance palette. However, I am happy that it's a part of my collection because this color story is super exciting and really inspiring. Like, it is obviously just a rainbow, which the rainbow has been done a million times over, but I do really enjoy this palette. There's something about it that, in terms of like the way it's presented and the combination of the metallics with the mattes and the various tones of like the rainbow color story, I do think that it is beautiful, but the formula is kind of subpar. I did purchase this probably about this time last year, so I'm happy to be finally rolling into this project, however, and the shade that I'm working on is Millie, as I said. I've only used it 4 times since I rolled it in last update, which is really unfortunate, and yeah, not really any sort of visible progress. I don't know if I can show you that, but it does have a tiny bit of hard pan. I find that these do tend to get a bit of hard pan. Unfortunately, it's that one right there, by the way. Yeah, no visible progress. Honestly, sorry, I just got a text and it kind of threw me off. I don't really entirely remember what I was saying, but yeah, I have reached into this palette quite a lot, and I really do enjoy using this palette, but it does take a little bit of patience, a little bit of building, and it isn't like the full-on high impact kind of formula that I see being more readily available these days, and so it's not something that I would even recommend, even if it was available. Like, it was limited edition, so that's not an issue, but yeah, I still do enjoy it, and I'm happy to be reaching for it. I don't see it being a problem whatsoever to be able to hit pan on Millie once I'm back in the groove of wearing makeup. I have seen that these pans are actually not that deep, so hopefully I'll be able to hit pan on it in a pretty pretty quick amount of time. I think that that probably is going to be the soonest pan that I hit like from this grouping. But anyways, let's move on to the next shadow, which is that gorgeous like sagey, deep, earthy green color. I was so excited to roll this into this project, and oh my gosh, it is such a beautiful shadow. It's so absolutely stunning. It comes from my ABH Subculture palette, which is a discontinued palette, and it is a controversial palette at that. But like I said, I was just so excited because this palette is something that really does inspire me. It makes me so excited to play with makeup. And Untamed is this shade right here. You can see I've not yet hit pan on it. In fact, I've only reached for it, actually, this is the one that I've made the most progress on since my last update, but I reached for it 6 times throughout this project so far. So there is a tiny bit of a dip starting to form in there. This palette is starting to look really well loved, really happy to see that, because I've had this palette in my life for probably, I guess, well, I bought it on launch day from ABH, not from Sephora. So it's probably what? It must be like 4 years or approaching 4 years, maybe 3. I don't know. But in any case, I know I'll be able to hit pan on this hopefully by my next update, but possibly by the following update, because you know, I have so many pans on here. I know how deep the pans are, and there definitely is a dip starting to form in here. And with having reached for it 6 times over this past month, I don't see it being a problem to be able to reach for this at least that many times in the coming month, as long as I'm on the mend. But yeah, I love it. I'm so happy to be reaching for it. The one thing I would say about this shade is I haven't been able to wear it just like as a full-on all over the lid shade without putting some sort of shimmer on top of it. And that's because it is a little bit patchy, as the mattes in this palette tend to be. But if I use it as more of like a deepening shade or as a base kind of color, I freaking love it. It's a beautiful color. I feel like it complements my coloring so well. And I just love green, man. And then the last shade that I have in this little quintet here is this kind of coppery, bronze-esque metallic shade here. It came from, you know, the palette that loves to be in this project pan, not only my own, but many others seem to get this palette 100 times over in this project pan. It is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. And the shade that I am working on from this is the shade called Ignite. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my numbers so that I can let you know where we're at with this one. But Ignite is a gorgeous shade, and I did already have a tiny little bit of a dip in it when I rolled it into this project. I have since used it 5 times since rolling it into this project pan, and I'm really happy to see where it is, to be honest. Like, I'm really happy with that dip. Of course, I would like to be able to hit pan on something for this update, but unfortunately that hasn't happened because of the way I'm consuming makeup. But there you go, you can see. Decent sized dip for sure. I'm really happy with the way that this palette is looking as a whole as well, thanks to it being rolled into this project so many times. But I foresee myself being able to hit pan on this absolutely no problem. It's not a struggle whatsoever to reach for this palette and to get use out of it. Actually, I did get a little bit like, okay, I felt like I was doing the same sort of looks over and over again, and I'm not that kind of person that likes to do the same makeup look. I like to do like one day a super neutral look, and then the next day a bright blue and hot pink look, and then the next day do like a soft earthy green look. And I like to be very dramatically different from day to day, because it just all is depending on what I'm feeling and what colors are, you know, exciting me in that moment. But I ended up actually mixing Smog and Ignite on my lid one day, and I loved this combination of colors. It was so beautiful, so pretty. And if you have this palette and you kind of want a neutral but not quite as cool and, you know, almost smoky as Smog is, but you don't want it to be as warm and bright and vibrant as Ignite, try mixing these two together. It is 10 out of 10. It really is. Gorgeous color. But yeah, that is my update. No new roll-ins for today, seeing as there were no pans, and I haven't yet reached my 15 use threshold on any products either. But that's okay. Sometimes you just gotta sit down and share these updates even when they're not the most thrilling of updates. But I hope that you enjoyed seeing some of my looks throughout this past month and hearing some of my reflections and thoughts on the shadows that I've been using. But that is going to be everything for today's update. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.